Here's our grade and our report card. Just for fun, we'll compare it quickly to Indiana's. You got a B, 2 F's, and a C. There's Indiana. Since we're in the Indiana-Michigan border, it's the Michiana, of course. Smoke-free air, they get 3 F's and a D. So you guys are doing better. Smoke-free air, B. The only reason that you don't get an A, you have a good, strong smoking law here, the only reason you don't get an A is because you have something called preemption. That local communities are preempted. They can actually, I believe, preempt the statewide law. If they want to allow smoking, a city can pass that. So that's unusual. It's called preemption. Now, we do have a good statewide law. If we can repeal preemption, the Lung Association says that Michigan will get an A. So we've talked about prevention spending, cessation spending. We'll briefly look at it. The cigarette tax, $2, pretty good, but it's they still give it a C. There's I'm not going to spend much time on the little points that are covered for Medicaid and state employees, but they have still not got much benefit compared to other states. Cessation, again, there's not a lot going on. The quit line, 52 cents per smoker. CDC wants $10.53 on the quit line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW. That's the national quit line. That's how we're not supporting that here the way we should be. Here's my sources. The report card is from the Lung Association every year in January, Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. The tax. Okay, so we have $2 here. Average state tax is $1.34, but they still give it a C because to get a B, you got to have a state tax of $2.50 or higher. To get an A, you got to do what New York did, which for some people would be kind of scary. But the higher you raise the cigarette tax, the less kids you have smoking, the more you cut adult smoking. It is a good tax. Let's talk about the tax. I'm not going to stay long on this slide, but we got a majority of voters favored the tobacco tax. And let's, rather than spend time on all that gobbledygook, let's look at that. There's the poll. They positioned in the poll questions about how to raise revenue for the state. How are we going to raise revenue? Well, we know we need revenue. Everybody agrees on that. So they said, would you like to cut education funding? No, they said, by what, 70%? 80%. They didn't like it. Would you like to increase the state sales tax? Are you kidding? 72% said, all right, just stop it. You know, we're already taxed to death. And they're right. Would you like to reduce road funding, or how about raising the state income tax? Where's that one? Increase the state income tax. Wait, where is it? There it is. Increase the state income tax. Almost 80% said, are you out of your mind? And the only way of bringing in revenue that was acceptable to 2/3 of voters was raising the state tobacco tax by, it didn't matter if it was 50 cents, didn't matter if it was $1, it was no difference in support between $1 and 50 cents across party lines, across demographic lines, across all income levels. The results were the same. We need to have our legislators take a look at this poll, because it's a win for politicians. Voters like it when you put it in the context of other means of raising revenue. Republicans and Democrats equally, clear majorities at every income level. Even 44% of smokers said, let's raise the tax. Can you imagine? Because they thought maybe it's going to help me quit. Huh? And they're right, it would be a strong incentive, big motivator. We had our 61-cent tax. I've sort of talked about that. I'm going to skip over this stuff. Brings in a lot of revenue, gets kids to less packs a year sold, almost 9% less kids smoking. Kids alive today who will not become smokers, 1.8 million. And that's that's without spending on education. The tobacco tax has almost the same effect as spending on education. I don't think we should shortchange our kids in education, but in a pragmatic time, when we have to tighten our belt, maybe this tax idea ain't so bad. So you got to think outside the box. Not all taxes are bad. We live in a complex time with complex problems.
I know what you've done.
And I know what you're doing.
You sell a product that contains addictive chemicals. So your customers stand little
Or no chance of
ever being able to stop using it. Slowly, over time,
it kills 1/3 of them. To replace those dead customers.
You tried to market your product
to kids as young as 13.
the fact is you get 89% of your new business
It's from teens.
I've seen the proof.
It's in your own words.
on your own letterhead.
Stamp top secret.
You screwed up.
when you tried to hide the documents.
And now they're on the web.
They're on the web.
I lost my grandfather.
My grandmother was manipulated by your lies for years.
My grandfather died because of your product.
Was the money you made worth it?
You've gotten rich selling a product that kills over 1,200 people a day.
Every day.
So while you're lounging around your comfortable house,
Watching this message,
Look into my eyes.
I know what you did.
And I know what you're doing. And that's why I got involved.
and I won't stop.
until everyone else knows what you're doing, too.
Yeah! Oh, yeah! I'm going to show that tomorrow at that middle school. And they're going to start a SWAT group if they don't have one.
You run these on commercial television?
I'm sorry?
You're running these ads on...
I'm not running a thing. I don't have any money.
What do you mean, is anyone funding these on...
This is not being funded. This is the kind of money that we used to see. This is the kind of thing we used to see on TV. And now it's gone the way of, many good ideas. We could fund it. We could take some of that huge revenue from tobacco and get these ads back on TV. We owe it to our kids. Those ads were so powerful. Just put that on a Saturday morning cartoon show. I don't care. How hard would that be? How expensive would that be? And it's a powerful testimony by those kids. No one has more influence over them than each other. I can stand up there and tell you don't smoke, but we know from Pavlov that kids are like little laboratory scientists, and they're going to go experiment. I'm going to beg them not to do it tomorrow. We'll talk briefly about a smoke-free workplace. We've got a good smoking law here. All we need to do is repeal preemption. Michigan gets an A. But we have now, I don't think we need to belabor the dangers of secondhand smoke. Does anybody not think secondhand smoke is dangerous? Anybody not think it causes lung cancer or heart disease in non-smokers? We don't have to spend time on this. We get a B, as I mentioned. The overview of the law, I'm sorry, but it's a lot of minutiae, and it's pretty well prohibited everywhere. In bad states, you see restricted. It means smoking areas are allowed. But here it's prohibited almost everywhere. This is the only thing. Preemption, if preemption were repealed, Michigan's grade would be an A. It means that local communities, I believe, can go against this law.
Would we ever be able to get the casinos and gaming establishments?
Will we ever be able to what?
To stop smoking in the casinos and gaming establishments?
That's the Indian nation. And Native Americans have their own nation, so I don't know. It's kind of like the freedom of speech thing. And I'm not a lawyer, but I know that gambling attracts compulsive people, so does smoking. So they kind of go hand in glove. And to get them out of let's finish my talk and then we'll have a little dialogue, hopefully. Less heart attacks when you get rid of secondhand smoke. The Institute of Medicine is extremely prestigious. Italy claimed that there was hospital admissions fell by 11% under people under 60 when they banned smoking across the entire nation. I hesitate to put that one in, but it was to point out that smoking sections do not work. Okay, they made me take it out in Texas, but anyway. All right, and I thought that's one place that, they're very earthy. It would have been okay. All right, so tipping point. Now here's what's key. 28 states have now banned smoking in all bars and all restaurants. 28 states. 27 of them did it in the last 10 years. Hello. California did it way back in the dark ages in 1993, but starting in 2001, the next state did it. So it's 10 years. We've had 27 more states come on board. And I think that's very significant. Maybe it's 9 years, whatever. 4 more states had cover restaurants and so on. Hospitals. Lakeland Healthcare is a smoke-free campus. Again, the administration had true vision, showed great leadership in Michigan to ban smoking on the campus. And congratulations, Lakeland Healthcare, for doing that. We've got over half the population now with 100% restaurants and bars smoke-free. And lots of countries are now banning smoking as well. I have to laugh because I spoke in Missouri a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and I did a find and replace. So all the MOs got changed to capital MOs. Marshall Islands. Okay, so I'm going to make some corrections. All right. That I'll show to the children. And I'll ask them, use your critical thinking skills. What is that a picture of? Oh, it's a picture. I mean, how many times have I heard this? A bunch of people outside smoking? Yeah, why are they outside? Well, they can't smoke inside? Well, why can't they smoke inside? Because it's not allowed? Everybody heard of secondhand smoke? And of course, we talk about secondhand smoke. And I will act for them what they're going to look at, what they're going to be doing in a nightclub in a few years. Hey guys, I got to go outside. You mind? Where's Joe going? Man, he has to go outside to take a cigarette. Oh no, he smokes. Why would you take up a product that all but guarantees you social rejection? Contrary to the Marlboro Men, I'll show them lots of images of the Marlboro Men gathered around a campfire in friendship. Joe's place, smoking camels, cartoon camels, smoking cigarettes in a bar. I've got all those slides to show them tomorrow. It was a lie. You have to go outside. And you are not welcome in the friendship circle when you smoke. Just reality.